back to another episode of Sean and Ed's Do Baseball. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ed.
We're doing baseball history.
That's right. We're a bi-weekly baseball history podcast where the story catcher doesn't know what the story pitcher is out on the mound throwing them.
And that doesn't make sense.
It does not, but it makes sense in the cross-up league. We're bringing that back.
We are bringing the cross-up league back. You can find us on social media at Doing Baseball and at Doing.Baseball as well.
Yep. If you try one of those out on one of the social media platforms, I'm sure you're bound to find us. And wherever you're listening, thank you for listening. And please give us a rating or review or a comment or a story suggestion or something like that. And once again, thanks for listening.
Of course. Thank you to Two Loons Brewing as well. Two Loons with their IPA and their lager. Check them out. Find them at twoloonsbrewing.com. Find them in your LCBO or across Ontario at your local watering hole. And of course,
Please be of legal drinking age, and of course, enjoy responsibly.
all right, Edsy. So you ready to throw? What do you got for us?
I'm ready to throw another fastball here.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a shorter story here, but I'm going to stick to the rules that we have on the podcast because we don't have that many, but there is one. Well, we have a couple rules, actually. But
We do.
One of our rules is that during February, we like to highlight some stories from black players and
Black history.
Black history around baseball because it is Black History Month, and this story will be no different. You had a great story last fortnight with a story of a great person and a great player, and who came to a tragic end, which was really terrible. I'm sure.
Check out the Luke Easter episode.
Yeah, I'm sure some of our listeners probably wanted to hug their families at the end of that one. So
We'll see.
Yeah.
Is yours along the same ilk?
no, it's not. It's not a
very
tragic story.
Thank
no.
goodness.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it is a tragedy that this person doesn't have as much recognition as I believe they should. But
Fair.
I'll mention that shortly once I get going here. Before I get going, I want to say that this is a story that was anchored predominantly by research done by Eric Aaron.
Okay.
For his article on our subject, which is at saber.org. And I want to encourage our listeners, as we like to do here and there throughout the seasons, to please donate to the Society of American Baseball Research.
Yep.
And consider joining one of their local chapters across the world, because we can't thank the organization enough for the amount of heavy lifting their members have done in helping us produce this podcast. So
Yeah, we're members. We donate when we can, and I think we're our local Hanlan's Point chapter. We are members. We are not active members as much as we should be, but
Yes.
life is very busy for us. But
yes, we're financially active.
financially active, at very least. Thank you so much, Saber.
Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, I'll start by saying the story today, Sean, is it's not all that groundbreaking. Mm-hmm. But that is not to say that our subject of today's story was not a trailblazer. He was in many regards, but unfortunately for us, and possibly fortunately for him, he remained a relative unknown to the baseball world at large. At least to the younger fans these days, far beyond the western shores of Lake Michigan. Okay, so that kind of gives you a little hint of maybe where we're talking, where this story may be located. But now that we've kind of done a few hints in the preamble there, I'll start this story by saying December 20th, 1949, Cecil Cooper was born in Brenham, Texas, to his parents Roy and Ocie Cooper.
Okay.
You know Cecil?
No idea.
Okay, we've been in the vicinity where we should have probably read a plaque of his or something, but anyway, I'll mention that later on. Cecil was, as some say, the last drip from a leaky faucet, the youngest of 13 children,
Jesus.
7 boys and 6 girls.
What the fuck was that metaphor?
I forget where I've heard that before, but I have heard that mentioned when from somebody who had several siblings siblings.
Jesus Christ. I was like, yeah. What?
Yeah. Your head did turn very fast on the swivel there.
So 13 siblings?
13 children.
Okay, he's the 13th.
So he's got 12 siblings.
Wow.
As mentioned, Brenham is a Texas town. Sometimes when the stories are a bit shorter, I like to dive into a little bit of extra history or whatever. But
amazing. I love it.
So Brenham is about 70 miles northwest of Houston.
Uh-huh.
However, Cecil was raised in nearby Independence, Texas, which is a very small town, about 12 miles from Brenham.
Yep.
In fact, it's so small that its 2010 population was just 140 people.
You're just going to be like, one.
It was just
one
Cecil.
guy.
Yeah. I mean, Independence would be a fitting name for a town of one person.
That would be amazing.
But it's not. Another notable resident was George Washington Baines.
Okay.
Who was the founder of Baylor University.
Interesting.
And grandfather to President Lyndon B. Johnson.
Fucking didn't expect that one.
Yeah, neither did I when I started reading into that. I guess that's what the B stands for. Is Baines, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I shouldn't just go shooting my mouth off in that regard. But yeah, I'm going to confirm that that's what happened.
Exactly.
Okay, so sadly, when Cecil was just 10 years old, his mother, O.C., passed away. So he and his siblings were left to be raised by their former ball-playing father, Roy, who worked with the nearby Department of Public Works.
All right.
Is one of my people.
There you go.
Father Roy is not to be confused with North Carolina's current governor, who, as an aside here, is pushing for Major League Baseball in North Carolina.
Roy Cooper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Go Roy. So Cecil learned the game from his three older brothers, John, Sylvester, and Jesse, whom the former two ended up spending some time barnstorming with the Indianapolis Clowns.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. John could pitch, and Sylvester was naturally a catcher. He later recounted how the Cooper brothers the Cooper brother who donned the tools of ignorance once caught the legendary Satchel Paige.
Oh, wicked.
And to strengthen the family resume even further, the boy's father, who was a Negro Leagues ball player before his career in public service began.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it's a ball-playing family.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So, as I say here, Cecil has got it in the genes, so to speak.
Yeah, he can make kids and fucking play ball.
That's right, yeah. So Cooper, a rather tall lefty who grew to be 6'2", followed his older brothers to the all-black Pickard High School, where he played ball for 3 years and won 2 state championships before transferring to Brenham High, which was an integrated school, for his senior year.
Okay, and what year was he born again?
He was born in 1949.
Okay, yeah, so this is, wow, that's probably during integration. I'm surprised to even hear that Texas had an integrated high school at the time, but...
Right.
Wow.
And you know, like, just quickly aside here again, I mean, I don't know the entire history on Lyndon B. Johnson, but
yes.
he was rather progressive for the era, I believe.
Well, he was, yeah, depending, I mean, where you look, he was definitely pushed to pass a lot of bills. He integrated high schools. He did the whole busing thing. Like, it was very, well, there was a lot of that all over the place. But yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I guess he was from Texas and stuff too. So yeah, Johnson definitely. Anyways, we're not a historical presidency podcast.
Yeah,
but
no,
yes,
no.
I guess it does make sense considering where he's from and where the president at the time was from and what the president was pushing for.
Yes, exactly. That's why I mentioned it. So anyway, so he's playing in Brenham High, and Dave Philly, a Boston Red Sox scout, spotted Cooper at one of his high school games. And the Sox drafted him in the 6th round of the 1968 amateur draft.
Okay.
And Cecil was sent north to Jamestown, New York, to play for the Falcons in the New York Penn League. Rest in peace.
Damn.
Cooper got into 26 games for Jamestown and recorded an astounding 38 hits in 84 plate appearances.
What?
Which was good for a .452 average.
Yep.
489 on-base percentage, and an OPS of 1,013.
Okay, so like some Barry Bonds numbers.
Yes, that's correct. Cecil had intended to go to college after his graduation from high school, and so opted to take a few courses at Blinn Junior College and Prairie View A&M during the off seasons. Mm-hmm. And when he returned to the diamond for the 1969 season, needless to say, he was moved up because of that performance.
So you're pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. So Cecil was headed south to South Carolina to play for the A-ball Greenville Red Sox of the Western Carolinas League.
Okay.
Where things leveled off in a larger sample size. So he wasn't as good as those numbers originally were, but he's still good. He put up good numbers, batting .297 with a .320 on-base percentage in 62 games this time.
Okay.
For 1970, Cecil was on the move again, and this time back north to Danville, Indiana, where he played 114 games for the A-level Danville Warriors of the Midwest League.
Cool.
And he improved his numbers even further from 1969 and impressed scouts with a .336, .415, .433 slash line.
Wow.
So he's not huge power, but still quite competitive there, and he's got a great on-base percentage and a great average there. So he impressed the Cardinals so much that St. Louis selected him in the Rule 5 draft in November of 1970. But he was returned to the Red Sox by next season.
So you're going to say, he gets his chance.
No, so he didn't crack the roster there, and he was sent back. He began the season of 71 on the Single-A Red Sox of Winston-Salem of the Carolina League, but was promoted to the Double-A Red Sox of Pawtucket in the Eastern League, where he batted .343 in 98 games.
Okay.
So he's proven.
He's going.
Yeah, he's proving his worth.
He's going up the escalator of the franchise.
That's right. There was no denying Cecil Cooper's skills with the barreled stick. Over the course of 5 years in the minor leagues, Coop had combined for a .327 average with 45 homers and 298 RBIs.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Thusly, the big league Red Sox called him up to make his major league debut on September 8th, 1971. So he's climbed the ladder.
And he gets a September call-up.
Yes. He began his major league career pinch hitting for Roger Moret and grounded out to second against Yankees pitcher Jack Aker. 3 days later, he recorded his first hit off Tigers hurler Joe Coleman, which was a pitch hit single in the 8th inning of a 1-0 loss to Detroit. Former prisoner Gates Brown powered the victory with a solo home run. Just quickly aside there. Yeah. In the 42 at-bats, Cecil got, during that September call-up, he hit for an average of .310.
Holy shit.
So he's performing every chance he gets here. So based on this showing, it appeared as though Cooper had a decent shot at the starting first baseman's job for 1972, but to Cecil's dismay, the Red Sox acquired Yankee first sacker Danny Cater just before the start of the season, and so Cooper was sent to AAA Louisville. Cater had a career year with the Yanks in 1970, batting .301, but in my humble opinion, Cater was the weaker and likely more expensive option of the two.
Fucking Red Sox.
Yeah, but I was going to say, but we kind of have seen the Red Sox be hesitant to put black players in the position.
Well, yeah, and I mean, they were the longest. They took the longest to integrate, and obviously, even after that, there was accusations. So yeah,
right.
No, I'm not surprised.
Right. So either way, Cecil spent another season in the minors and had yet another fine campaign, producing a .315 average and a league-leading 162 hits.
Oh.
Cooper returned to Boston in September, but got just 17 at-bats during the tight pennant race in which the Red Sox fell short by half a game.
Oh, shit.
So
should have gone with
They should have gone with Cecil.
Cecil.
Cecil?
Is it Cecil or Cecil?
I don't know. I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other in that regard. But
there we go.
So despite Cater's shortcomings, Cooper again was sent down to Pawtucket, which was now the AAA affiliate.
Yeah.
As the Red Sox elected to move the legendary Carl Yastrzemski back to first base.
Ah, shit.
So Cecil, he hit .293 with 15 home runs, and again was recalled to the big league club. This time before the rosters expanded for September, though.
Ah.
So that shows a little bit more faith that they have in him, probably.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. he made his first American League appearance of 1973 on August 24th and remained on the field playing nearly full-time for the rest of the season. In 30 games and 101 at-bats, Cooper hit .238, netting his first 3 major league home runs.
Okay. So he gets like 24 hits and 100 bats and just like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. His first round tripper was struck on September 7th at Fenway Park off the Tigers' Bob Miller.
Cool.
It seemed as though Cecil had finally proved himself worthy of a full-time spot on the roster, and so he was named the Red Sox opening day first baseman for 1974, hitting third in the lineup. New manager Darrell Johnson, who had also come up from Pawtucket with Cecil, had the unwelcome task of juggling the talented roster and ensuring everyone had adequate playing time and the Red Sox had an effective lineup. Johnson used a lot of different lineups, and he tried his best to divide playing time at first base, left field, and designated hitter between Cooper, Yastrzemski, Cater, Tommy Harper, and Bernie Carbo.
Oh.
So that's a lot of moving parts that he's got to get in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out. And to a certain extent, as a manager, you're like, well, maybe somebody gets hurt.
Yeah. That would make my job a lot easier. Yeah.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. So Cooper ended up playing 74 games at first.
Okay.
And 41 more as the DH.
All right.
Getting most of the starts when facing right-handed pitchers.
Okay, so he's just using his guys to set him up for success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, you're just going to hit against righties.
Yeah. So against those righties, he hit .275 in 414 at-bats.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I said against those righties. It's not entirely against righties, but anyway, that's
overall mostly righties.
Yes, that's what his average was there, and he spent so much of his time at DH due to a poor defensive reputation. But the Red Sox must have been impressed with his work at the plate because they worked hard to keep him up on the major league team. Since by this point in his career, he was out of options.
So they can't send him down again.
Yeah, because
despite the roster crunch, he can't be the odd man out.
Right. If they send him down, he would have to clear waivers, and then that complicates even further because they would have to work a deal or just let him go.
Yeah.
So for 1975, Cecil once again was in some tough sledding, trying to crack the Boston roster. The Red Sox had 2 rookie outfielders in Jim Rice and Fred Lynn coming up.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a tough go there.
Yeah.
So Tony Conigliaro was making a career comeback, and he initially won the DH job from Cecil.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so he's...
Once again, heard of him.
Yeah. So as we're kind of alluding to here, he's got tough competition at his position.
Yeah.
So, that's a good problem to have, I guess, for the Red Sox. But
he's out of options, and the roster crunch continues to crunch.
Yes, and by the end of May, Cecil was the odd man out.
I knew it.
And saw limited playing time, and he made just 24 at-bats and registered only 6 hits in that time.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah. Never one to quit, though. Cooper persevered through his struggles, and by late June, he was back platooning against right-handed pitchers. And he ended up hitting .311 with 14 home runs in 305 bats.
Damn.
For the season. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I guess that translates to like a 30 home run season in a full season or more. Through August and early September, Cecil was one of the team's most productive hitters. Mm-hmm. But on September 7th, there was a scary moment that caused the rest of his season to go awry.
Whoa.
In the second game of a doubleheader against the Milwaukee Brewers, he was hit in the face by a pitch from Bill Travers. Cooper was carried off on a stretcher and was bleeding from his nose and mouth. But luckily, he was relatively unscathed by the incident. And this is from the Lowell Sun newspaper. Quote, Cecil Cooper, hit below the eye by a Travers pitch, was x-rayed and examined by an eye specialist who found no damage. So, he just got banged up there. He's not too worse for wear.
But still getting ball to face.
Yeah. So that answers the prayer for the manager that you maybe mentioned earlier. That makes
Like, oh, good.
Yeah, that makes my job a little bit easier. The article also continued to mention how after the first game, Yastrzemski left to a dentist in order to have an abscess tooth drained, and he returned for the 6th inning of the second game.
What?
But that is neither here nor there in this story. But it certainly is worth mentioning.
How was your dental surgery, Carl?
Yeah. Get in there, bud. Not too bad. I'm a little high on laughing gas right now, but well, get in there, bud.
It's all good.
You're a legend. So the incident involving Cooper unfortunately hampered his performance the rest of the season, as it would.
Yeah.
You know, you got smoked in the eye. So
Yeah.
You know, remember he didn't get hit in the eye, but remember when Giancarlo Stanton got hit in the face when he played in Miami, and he just wasn't the same for the rest of the year?
Well, yeah, I can't. Honestly, getting hit by any pitch is like fucks with you if you don't have the right mindset, and I'm sure getting hit in the face is just devastating to your psyche, especially like, I absolutely. I remember Stanton just not looking the same, and there's been a number of guys that have got one up and in that just can't do it for a while.
Before the start of the season, rookie phenom Jim Rice injured his wrist, which in turn created a situation that required Carl Yastrzemski to play left field in his place. So Cooper had first base to himself for most of the postseason.
Okay.
He went 4 for 10 against Oakland in the ALCS, but floundered against the Big Red Machine of Cincinnati in the World Series, going just 1 for 19.
Oof.
Yeah. So he failed under the big lights of the big stage of the Fall Classic there. So for 1976, Cooper once again split time between first base and designated hitter and got into 123 games. So they're still getting him in there. He slashed a 282, 304, and 457 line while collecting 127 hits, 2 doubles, 15 homers, and 78 RBIs, which was good for a 110 OPS plus.
2 doubles and 15 home runs?
22 doubles.
Oh, 22 doubles.
Yes.
I thought you said 2 doubles.
I may have, but what I meant to say was 22.
Okay, I'm glad I caught that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, did he just not go to second base?
No, he was like, that's good enough.
If it goes over the fence, I'll run around first.
But otherwise, I'm staying here.
Those 2 were just accidental.
Yeah. He just thinks that's where he's supposed to post up because he plays first base
they
on
were
defense.
ground rule doubles.
Yeah.
That could be it. There we go. We found it.
So as I mentioned, he had a 110 OPS plus. So he's better than average.
Yeah, no, he's like, okay, so the guy I keep thinking of, and you'll see me, I James Loney. Do you remember James Loney?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who. It's just kind of like high batting average, not a lot of power, but like will get his home runs, get his doubles, but like you're never gonna get like 30 or 40 home runs. You're gonna get like 13, 15.
Yeah.
And like 20-something doubles. Like, it's just kind of like James Loney. That's who I'm picturing right now. I don't know why.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
So Red Sox manager Don Zimmer told Cecil after the season that he would surely be starting at first base on opening day in 1977 and would be their regular guy.
You better hold your word, Don.
Which is just the kiss of death. You know? But what did Don Zimmer know about the future?
Yeah.
Nothing. Because on December 6, 1976, Cooper was traded to the Milwaukee Brewers.
I knew it.
For 2 former Red Sox, first baseman George Scott and outfielder Bernie Carbo.
So he's heading to the West Shore of Lake Michigan.
That's right, as mentioned earlier. And fans in neither Boston nor Milwaukee were particularly thrilled with this transaction, apparently.
Nobody was happy.
No. But Bud Selig, the future commissioner and owner of the Brewers, said in a Sports Illustrated article from September of 1983 that he was told by other AL East club owners, because if you didn't know, the Brewers were in the American League at the time. The other owners said that, quote, if you keep making trades like that, you'll be in last place forever. So just talking shit. So the previous year of 1976, the Brew Crew finished last in the American League East with a record of 66 and 95. And the extremely popular Scott had first played in a Red Sox uniform from 66 to 71 and had posted several good seasons for the Brewers. So, Brewers fans were upset about losing one of their favorite guys, even though they kind of sucked. But the Red Sox fans had some hope in the return of Scott. But sadly for the frequenters of Fenway, neither Scott nor Carbo ever again had the kind of success they'd achieved earlier in their careers. And much to their dismay, Cecil Cooper would become a Milwaukee legend in a Brewers uniform.
So Milwaukee wins the trade.
Yeah, Milwaukee wins the trade.
So Selig did something right.
That's right.
That's the only time we'll say this on this podcast.
That's right.
Ever.
Cecil's first season in Milwaukee, he slashed 300, 326, 463 for a 113 OPS plus.
Okay.
I'm noticing that he mustn't walk very much because his average or his on base percentage is not usually very much higher than his batting average.
No, he definitely does not. He sounds like he just goes up there swinging and he gets a lot of singles. He just hits. He hits. He's a classic 80s fucking hitter.
That's
he just hits the ball.
That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
His second year in Milwaukee of 1978, he put up a line of 312, 359, and 474. So a little bit better.
Oh my God, yeah.
With 13 home runs and 23 doubles.
Okay.
Netting a 133 OPS plus.
Yeah, okay.
In just 107 games.
Well, that's once again, yeah, that's what you can kind of expect. But overall, yeah, when the power shows up and the on base percentage shows up, obviously his numbers skyrocket there. But yeah, okay, so he's doing better and better. He's found his home. He's found his home,
and it was in his third season in Milwaukee, however, the season of 1979, in which Cooper really hit his stride.
Oh.
He was an American League All-Star for the first time and won his first of back-to-back Gold Gloves.
Oh.
I know we said earlier that he was a bit of a defensive liability, but he seems to have figured it out.
Well, it's first base, as they say in Moneyball.
That's true, yeah.
Anyone can figure it out if you give them 10 years.
That's right. So in 79, he hit 308. Got on base at a 364 clip.
That's great.
Yep, and slugged 508.
Damn.
He clubbed another 24 home runs in addition to a league-leading 44 doubles.
Okay. Yeah, he's blowing past James Loney now. At this point for me.
Yeah, okay. You'll have to come up with another comparison. Thinking it. Put your thinking cap on there, Sean.
I'm trying to think.
Sal Bando, who came to Milwaukee at the same time as Cooper and spent time as a player-coach for the Brewers, said in the New York Times post-retirement in 1982 that, quote, Cecil Cooper is the best all-around first baseman in the game. Okay. And it's pretty heavy praise there.
Those are big things to say at the time.
Yeah, who else would have been a first baseman at that time in the 80s?
You know what? That's my dark period.
Yeah.
Early 80s is like a... I know George Brett.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah. Isn't George Brett a third baseman?
No, not even first baseman. I just mean players in general.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I got you. So I'm continuing here. Bando continued to praise Cooper in the Times, saying, quote, Cecil Cooper can beat you with a home run or a flare to left or a bunt, and he can field his position. You have guys who can hit home runs and guys who can hit singles, but not too many can do both. Cecil can.
Yeah, he gets on base and he pops one occasionally.
Yeah. Playing for a small market team in the Midwest allowed Cooper to thrive, and in 1980, he did just that. Early in the year, on April 12th, he and teammate Don Money solidified their places in the history books with an incredible feat accomplished just 4 times previous to this day. So 4 times in baseball history. What they did, Cooper and Money both hit a grand slam in the same inning.
Damn.
During an 18-1 Brewers shit-kicking of Cooper's former club, the Boston Red Sox.
Amazing.
Yeah, that'll show him.
Yeah.
Should have given me the chance.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd be World Series champs by now.
Yeah, the Braves, the Brewers, definitely won this trade.
Yeah, yeah. Cecil, as mentioned, was thriving in Milwaukee. He hit better than 300 in every month of the season, finishing with a 352 average,
Holy.
25 home runs,
What?
219 hits,
Okay.
and an American League leading 122 RBIs.
That's like I know it's different position. That's like peak Altuve numbers, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that is good.
Yes, very, very good.
That is amazing.
And as expected, he was an all-star once again.
Okay.
But his season was largely overlooked outside of Sud City, however, because of George Brett's performance for the Royals, where he finished the year with a 390 batting average.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Stupid George.
Goddamn George Brett.
Stupid George Brett ruining everything.
The unassuming Cooper quoted in a publication called the Christian Science Monitor.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah. Said, quote, "With Brett hitting close to 400 all year, I didn't expect to get much publicity, and I didn't have any trouble living with that."
Oh, yeah.
So he's a pretty humble guy. He does it.
He comes from Independence, Texas.
That's right. Yeah, he was the only guy there.
He's very humble.
Yeah. So, yeah. So as we kind of mentioned earlier, playing in Milwaukee was like kind of a perfect market for a guy with his humility.
I kind of said it getting ahead of myself, but yeah, he found a home that just was perfect. You know, I honestly think that. You think about there's certain guys that probably if they were just drafted by a different team or if they just made their debut in a different market.
Like Eric Hinsky.
Maybe.
I don't
Maybe
know.
like Hinsky.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's many guys that just like, yeah. But it sounds like he just was lucky enough to find that home and just, he was like, you know what? I don't have to be George Brett. I'll just hang out and
I'll just
get
be
drunk
Cecil
in
Cooper,
Milwaukee.
man. Yeah. Just drink some beer here and smash hits. Cecil was a clutch contact hitter who could hit for both average and power. He kept putting up such solidly consistent numbers year after year that it was easy to overlook his achievements because he was just so steady, steady Eddie, not a superstar, but not terrible either. And he just stayed so consistent that he was like part of the wallpaper.
He just dude can hit. Dude, you just pencil him in and you forget about him.
Yeah, exactly. In the late 1970s and early 80s, the Brew Crew were a team on the rise. Moving up in the standings, they finished with 93 wins in 1978 and 95 wins in 1979. They slumped a little in 1980, just winning 86 on the campaign. But in 1981, the Brewers finished first atop the AL East in the second half of a strike-shortened split season, in which the New York Yankees won the first half, and Cooper had an OPS plus of 155.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they got, like, young Robin Yount and, like, Paul Molitor and all these guys.
You got it. Raleigh Fingers.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about these guys in a minute.
Yeah.
This set the stage for the best of 5 divisional playoff between the two clubs, which was this had never happened before, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the split season, they had a division series for the first time ever.
Yeah. What year was that again?
1981.
1981. Okay.
Yeah. So Cecil and the crew battled back from a 2-game deficit to tie the series at 2 games apiece, but fell in the winner-take-all 5th game 7-3 to the eventual American League champions. Cooper hit .320 with 12 home runs over the course of the 109-game campaign.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because of the strike.
Because of the shortened season, yes. The Brewers had really come into their own, and in 1982, Cooper found himself at the heart of one of the era's great lineups. He batted third behind Paul Molitor and Robin Yount.
Wow.
And in front of Ted Simmons, Gorman Thomas, and Charlie Moore.
Okay.
Cooper hit .313, had a .346 on-base percentage, slugged .528, and had an OPS of 146, or OPS plus of 146, with 32 home runs and 121 runs batted in. He was named an All-Star for the 3rd time.
Okay, yeah, no, at this point, I'm just astounded and I understand why I don't know who Cecil Cooper is, because
you're too young.
I'm too young, and I know Paul Molitor and Robin Yount.
Right.
Like, I know
Hall of Famers.
Yastrzemski.
Uh-huh.
Like, I know, all of these
Fred
guys
Lynn
were just slightly ahead of him.
Right.
Even Jim Rice. And
right. So as he said, he gets lost in the shuffle.
He does.
Playing with all these superstar players.
Yes.
But he's amazing.
Yeah.
So he was named an All-Star for the third time, and in a tight playoff race, the Orioles had clawed back to tie Milwaukee for the division lead with just one game left in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But on October 3rd, 1982, in a game deciding the American League East Championship, the Brewers defeated the Orioles 10-2, closing out the season with a mark of 95-67. In the ALCS, the Brewers fell behind the California Angels 2-0, but fought back from the brink of elimination, becoming the first team to come back from a 2-0 deficit and win a best-of-5 series in the postseason. Yeah. We know what that's like.
We do know what that's like.
God, I miss 2015.
Yeah, I wish I could make fun of the Rangers, but they've won a World Series.
Yeah, those bastards.
Yeah.
In the decisive Game 5, Jim Gantner and Charlie Moore scored on Cooper's 7th-inning bases-loaded single. In a gesture similar to that of former teammate Carlton Fisk in Game 6 of the 75 series, Cooper motioned for the ball to get down. So he's waving his arms.
Oh, wow.
And he said in that same 1983 Sports Illustrated article from earlier, quote, "I remember thinking, get down, ball, get down. The crowd was so loud I couldn't really hear myself saying anything, but I just wanted to keep waving so that the ball would fall in there." So he's willing it into, there must have been an outfielder coming on.
Yeah.
And he was like, get in there, drop.
Yeah, yeah.
So despite the clutch hit, overall he struggled in the LCS, though, going just 3 for 20.
Okay.
So that's not very good.
No, it's not.
It's a 150 average.
Yeah.
The 1982 World Series was called the Suds Series. You want to know why? I'm going to explain it.
Would have been Milwaukee against St. Louis.
That's
probably.
correct.
Yay!
Yep. Because it pitted the two of America's largest beer brewing cities against each other, Milwaukee and St. Louis. Cooper homered in a losing effort in Game 3, and his 8 for 28 record was not enough as his team lost in 7 games.
Ah.
So it was a tight series. Cooper's teammate Robin Yount won the American League MVP award, and just as in 1980 when he lost to George Brett, Cooper finished 5th in the voting. Yount hit .331 with 29 home runs and 114 RBIs. So that was his MVP numbers there. And Cecil said, quote, "Maybe I'm the Lou Gehrig of my time, always in the shadows of someone else."
Yeah, okay, easy.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. He's a pretty good role model, though.
Yeah.
While in Milwaukee, Cooper wrote a column for the Brewers magazine, What's Brewing? He wrote about everything from his baseball experiences to how youngsters could get autographs from their favorite players. It's probably annoyed some players, I'm assuming.
Here's what you do.
Yeah.
Paul lives at 44th Street in Mortimer. He goes for coffee at about 8 a.m.
He's a frequenter of Dinky Donuts. Cooper worked for the Athletes for Youth, a Milwaukee inner-city program teaching children about baseball, and was honorary chairman of both the Kidney Foundation of Wisconsin and the 1982 Food for Families Project, and deservedly so, Cecil was awarded baseball's coveted Roberto Clemente Award for his community service in 1983.
Good for him.
Yeah, so he's a
good guy.
Yeah, he's a community guy. Bud Selig said of Cooper in the Sporting News, quote, "I think Cecil does a lot more than any of us know. Cecil is shy. What he does, he prefers to do in anonymity." That was a tough word to say.
Anonymity. I'm actually trying. That
Anonymity.
wasn't me making fun of you.
Yeah.
That was me actually.
Okay, we're moving on. That's a fucked up word. He tries to do it without anybody knowing he's doing it. That's what we're trying to say.
That's the discourse level we're at.
Yeah. Cooper played for the Brewers until 1987, and as he passed through the mid-30s, his batting average and power numbers fell off.
I was going to say, he's got to be getting up there.
Yeah, although he did make the AL All-Star squads in 83 and 85. He retired from Major League Baseball in 1987, but did play a month in the Senior Professional Baseball Association in 1989. We got to look that up.
No, that's on the list.
Is it on there? Yeah. Appearing in 16 games during the appearing in 16 games with the Winter Haven Super Sox.
All right, you gotta love it. We gotta just. It's like the what is it? The senior PGA,
the Champions Tour.
Yeah,
how they give it a special name, so it doesn't seem like it's old retired guys.
See, I think like you could still enjoy seeing major leaguers play. Not to do this episode before we do this episode, but it'd be fun to see major leaguers play like into their like 40s and 50s and 60s. But you can't expect pitching.
No, that's true. That's right.
Like both from like their eyesight's going and stuff like that, but also just like you're like by 40. Like, like,
and I was about to add just in there that like I guess they could play softball, but if they did, I just feel like everything would be a home run.
Yeah. Well,
you'd have to have like a 600-foot field.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting off track here. Cooper hit .407 with 3 home runs and 15 RBIs in that Super League or whatever you call it.
Because nobody
Senior
has
Professional
pitching.
League. Yeah, that's right. During this time, he also served as a player agent.
Oh.
In 1996, he became farm director for the Brewers.
Cool.
And in 2002, Cooper returned to the dugout as the Brewers bench coach. In 2005 and 2004, Cooper managed the Brewers' AAA affiliate Indianapolis Indians. In 2005, he took advantage of an opportunity to return to his native Texas and became the bench coach for the Houston Astros under manager Phil Garner.
Cool.
On August 27th, 2007, Garner was fired by Houston and Cooper was named interim manager, becoming the first African-American skipper in Astros history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's one of the groundbreaking parts of his life there.
Yeah, and especially be back in Texas where he's from.
Mm-hmm. On September 28th, the interim tag was removed, and Cooper signed a 2-year contract as the Astros manager. In 2008, the Astros finished 3rd place in the National League Central Division with an 86 and 75 record. On September 21st, 2009, though they had picked up Cooper's option for 2010, the Astros fired him with 13 games left in the season, and the club at 70 and 79, fairly or unfairly, he was dismissed from a team that had a high payroll and aging stars who weren't performing to their expectations.
No.
Overall, Cooper's record as a manager was 171 and 170.
Oh, all right. About 500.
Yeah, about John Gibbons style.
There you go.
So Cooper holds the Brewers' season record for hits, which was the 219 in 1980.
Which is crazy. Like, he played with Molitor and like, I guess, never mind. I was about to say Hank Aaron, but that's the Braves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, not to get too sidetracked here, but I think Aaron might have been there for a bit when they were the Brewers, no?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Anyway, I'm wrong. And singles, which was 157, also in 1980.
Yeah.
And was second in RBIs, which is 126 from 1983. Mm-hmm. He was ranked 4th in Brewers' career batting average, which is 302, 3rd in hits with 1,815, and career doubles with 345, and 4th in at-bats with 6,019.
You're 100% right. Hank Aaron did play as a Brewer.
I was going to say. Okay.
I am wrong. I am so sorry about that. In 75 and 76.
I was going to say, like, for a very short stint, but...
Yeah. Go ahead and keep going about Cooper.
Cooper also, I think I don't know if this is 4th or anyway, he played in 1,490 games for the Brewers, which was a lot. I don't know if that was the most or anyway, it's up there. He was second in RBIs with 994, and his single season average of 352 in 1980 was the team's second best, just behind Paul Molitor's 353 in 1987.
Damn.
In his hometown of Brenham, a field was dedicated in Cooper's honor, and his number was retired at Brenham High School. He was inducted into the Walk of Fame at Brewers Miller Park in 2002 and inducted into the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame that same year. In 2014, Cecil was one of the 58 former Brewers inducted into the Wall of Honor outside of Miller Park. So we
Deservedly so.
We walked past that probably back in 2015 and didn't really take a good look at it, obviously, but
Well, I mean, there's 58 guys.
that's right. There's a again, as he did in his career, he kind of flies
Under
below
the
the radar when you're looking at names like Yount and Molitor and
But he
the
just
rest
seemed
of
to
the
get
gang.
better. Well, I mean, he seemed to get better once he got to Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is the biggest, I think that's the biggest key to his success is not, I think the talent was always there, and he just kind of found his place. And just, once again, was not the best on the team, but just was consistent for like a decade.
Right. Cooper lives a quiet life now in Katy, Texas, with his wife Octavia, and has watched 3 daughters grow up. He remained in the shadows for much of his 17-year playing career and truly didn't get the respect he deserved. And from his Sabre bio here, Cecil was once described by Baseball Digest as the Rodney Dangerfield of baseball.
Okay.
Because he didn't get no respect.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
He was also a natural-born killer.
Yeah, that's right. Considered a fringe Hall of Famer at best, Cooper finished his MLB career with more hits than Harmon Killebrew and a higher batting average than Frank Robinson.
Damn.
And that's the story of Cecil Cooper's level career in baseball history.
Cecil Cooper. I'm Googling him now because I was waiting for you to finish your story. But, I'm surprised. I guess 36 career Baseball Reference where I'm he kind of feels like he's a Hall of Very Good.
Yes.
He's a Hall
That's
of
what
Very
I'm saying.
Good. That is a great...
Yeah. And the reason I started researching this story is because I actually saw a baseball meme that mentioned Cooper, and it said about more hits than Killebrew and a higher average than Robinson, but it also said that he had more doubles than Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Which is not true. I don't know why it said that in the meme.
Fucking meme. You
but
basically
there you
wrote
go.
a whole
Don't
episode just to disprove this.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, you know what? And then I looked into this guy, and he's great. He's really good. But that
he's
is
not
wrong.
Mantle.
Mickey had more.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is amazing. I like that ending. No, I kind of was waiting for that to fall off a cliff, as I am always worried that these stories.
Yeah, no,
do.
this one was not that dark. No.
No, it was a good one. It's just a guy that flew under the radar. And honestly, I'm so surprised I hadn't heard of Cecil Cooper before now. And I probably have. I've probably seen highlights.
There's thousands and thousands of ball players that have existed, so it's impossible to remember all of them at any given time, my friend.
Yeah, but at the same point, I'm glad you brought this to our attention, and yeah, well, that was a good episode, and thanks so much. Until next time, where can people find us?
People can find us on social media at Doing Baseball or at Doing.Baseball. If you check one of those out at whatever platform you're trying to find us on, I'm sure one of them will work, so give those a try.
And give us a review. Give us a rating, give us a follow, all that stuff. It's all great. If you have a story suggestion you'd like to hear, we've done it before, and we'll do it again. And we're looking forward to bringing you again more baseball history in a couple weeks.
Yep, and until next time.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Eds.
And we were doing the baseball.
Okay, bye.